Yeah, talking about, the next question, right? I mean, always causal inference methods are compared to, the traditional machine learning methods. Machine learning methods are really easy to prove and validate, right? You have a ground truth, you have a prediction, and you can always juxtapose them and say that, hey, look, we came very close to the ground truth. But causal inference are not that easy to prove. I mean, its efficacy or its accuracy cannot be proved that easily, right? How does one go about, proving uh, the accuracy of a causal inference method?
Yeah. Well, like any inference technique, right? At the end of the day, you are relying on the validity of your assumptions. So I would take Rosenbaum's advice that I mentioned earlier, right? If you have no credible claim to why an assumption is not met or why it is implausible, then probably you should accept the assumptions. Of course, we could be wrong. The state of knowledge could evolve. We could realize that we were in error. But science has a beautiful way of bringing in people with different perspectives to study similar questions and to look at it from different angles. And it is this accumulation of evidence and accumulation of knowledge that eventually gives us certainty about things like, for example, it would be very, very, very unlikely and surprising that cigarette smoking turns out to not cause cancer, right? But how do we know that? Well, it takes a lot of understanding of the evidence. A lot of many studies were done, and the inferences are super credible. There's no alternative explanation. So I think it's a matter of finding alternative explanations and looking at them and probing the data. I don't think there you can just do one study and end up saying, well, this is causal. There is no doubt that I have the right estimation. That is very, very rare, even with the RCT, because yeah, in an ideal scenario, the RCT works, but in real life, you never meet the ideal scenario. So
Mhm.
you are still relying on assumptions to make your inference. Yeah, I don't know. Does that answer your question? I think.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, thanks
Okay.
for that.